I'm sorry, Madison, but the quarterly family dinner is for successful members of the Wilson family only. My father's voice crackled through the phone, each word dripping with disappointment. Your sister just made partner at her law firm, your brother's running operations at Wilson Manufacturing, and you, well? I understand, Dad. I kept my voice neutral, watching the real-time stock ticker of Wilson Manufacturing scroll across my private office wall. Their share price had dropped another 2% today, exactly as I'd planned. My job at Summit Solutions isn't quite up to family standards. A project coordinator at some startup, he scoffed. Hardly comparable to running a 100-year-old manufacturing empire. If he only knew that Summit Solutions was just one of my shell companies, a carefully crafted facade hiding my real position as CEO of Phoenix Industries, the conglomerate that had been systematically acquiring Wilson Manufacturing's shares through various subsidiaries for the past year. Maybe next quarter, I said, signing off on another discrete stock purchase that pushed my ownership closer to the controlling threshold. My executive assistant, Thomas, entered with the latest acquisition reports. Ms. Wilson, we've secured another 3% through the Singapore subsidiary. Total ownership now stands at 48%. I nodded, thinking of the family dinner I'd been banned from held in the Wilson building, which I technically now owned through one of my holding companies. And the board meeting on Monday? Everything's arranged. The final share purchase will go through Sunday night. By Monday morning, Phoenix Industries will own 51% of Wilson Manufacturing. My phone buzzed with a text from my sister Lauren. Sorry about dinner, Maddie. But you know how Dad is about success. Maybe if you got a real job like the rest of us? Face blowing a kiss. I glanced at the wall of monitors displaying my global operations, dozens of companies, billions in assets, and soon the family empire they were so proud of. A real job indeed. The families gathered in the main dining room, Thomas reported, pulling up the security feed from the Wilson building. Your brother James is announcing his new expansion plans. I watched as James, in his perfectly tailored suit, stood to address the family. Wilson Manufacturing is entering a new era of growth. We're acquiring smaller companies, modernizing operations. If he only knew that every acquisition he planned would need approval from Phoenix Industries from me. That every modernization project would cross my desk under a name he didn't know existed. Your sister's engagement ring is impressive, Thomas observed as Lauren flashed her new diamond on the security feed. Though not quite as impressive as the one you turned down from that tech billionaire last month. I smiled, remembering the headlines I'd avoided by keeping my personal life private. The business world knew me only as MJ Phoenix, the reclusive founder of Phoenix Industries. My family knew me as Madison Wilson, the disappointment who couldn't handle the family business. Thomas, is everything prepared for Monday's revelation? Yes, ma'am. The boardroom is arranged exactly as specified. Security has been briefed and the documents are ready. He paused, then added with a slight smile, your father's seat has been moved to the side. Your chair awaits at the head of the table. I turned back to the security feed, watching my family celebrate their imagined successes. James was detailing his grand plans for the company's future. Plans that would need my signature to implement. Lauren was showing off her law firm partnership, unaware that her firm's biggest client was one of my subsidiaries. And my father. He sat at the head of the table, playing king of an empire that had already slipped through his fingers. Sunday evening, I sat in my real office, the top floor of Phoenix Tower, finalizing the last details of tomorrow's revelation. The stock purchase that would give me controlling interest in Wilson Manufacturing was scheduled for midnight. Ms. Wilson, Thomas entered with a stack of documents. Final ownership projections just arrived. We'll hit 51.3% at exactly 12:01 a.m. I nodded, watching the sun set over the city skyline. Somewhere across town, my family was probably still congratulating themselves over their exclusive dinner. And the board meeting notifications? Sent. Emergency session called for 9 a.m. Your father seemed quite agitated about being summoned by an unknown majority shareholder. My phone buzzed, James calling. I put him on speaker. Maddie, thank God you picked up, he sounded panicked. Something's happening with the company. Some investment group has been buying up shares. Dad's furious. Oh. I replied mildly, signing the papers that would officially make me his boss in a few hours. That sounds serious. It is. Dad's called an emergency meeting with our top shareholders, but no one can figure out who's behind the purchases. Some company called Phoenix Industries. I glanced at the Phoenix Industries logo on my wall, the same one that would replace the Wilson Manufacturing sign tomorrow. Well, I'm sure Dad will handle it. He always does, right? Yeah. Listen, Maddie, about dinner. I know it seems harsh, but Dad just wants what's best for the company. Once you get a more impressive position. More impressive than project coordinator? I mused, watching the final preparations for tomorrow's board meeting on my security feeds. Exactly. Maybe I could find you something entry-level at Wilson Manufacturing? Now that I'm running operations. I bit back a laugh, thinking of the org chart that would be revealed tomorrow, with my name at the top. That's thoughtful, James. But I think I'll stick with Summit Solutions for now. After hanging up, I turned to Thomas. How's the new signage coming along? He pulled up photos on his tablet. Phoenix Industries logos are ready to be installed throughout the Wilson building. Your father's name is being removed from the executive parking spot as we speak. Another text came through Lauren this time. Dad's having a meltdown about some hostile takeover. Wish you had a real business background like us to understand how serious this is. Kiss mark. I opened my private safe, removing the documents I'd been saving for this moment. My Harvard MBA, my successful acquisitions, press clippings about the mysterious MJ Phoenix who'd built a business empire from nothing, all carefully hidden from my family's view. Ms. Wilson, my head of security, appeared on the intercom. Your father just tried to access Phoenix Industries ownership records. Should we let him see? No, I smiled. Let him wait until tomorrow. Some revelations are best delivered in person. I stood at my window watching the lights come on across the city. By this time tomorrow, the Wilson Manufacturing sign would be gone, replaced by my Phoenix rising from the ashes of their arrogance. Thomas, is my suit ready for tomorrow? Yes, ma'am. Not the usual project coordinator attire, I assume. No, I replied, thinking of their faces when I walked into that boardroom. Tomorrow we dress for the position I've always had, not the one they thought I deserved. Monday morning, 8:55 a.m. I stood in the private elevator of the Wilson building, soon to be Phoenix Tower East, listening to the chaos unfolding through my security feed. Who the hell is MJ Phoenix? My father's voice boomed from the boardroom. How dare they buy my company without showing their face? Sir, his assistant stammered, Phoenix Industries completed the majority acquisition at midnight. They now own 51.3% of shares. Impossible. I built this company. My father built this company. I checked my reflection in the mirrored walls. Gone was the casual attire of a project coordinator. Today I wore a perfectly tailored suit worth more than my brother's car, my grandmother's Phoenix brooch gleaming at my lapel. Ms. Wilson, Thomas's voice came through my earpiece. Your family has assembled in the boardroom. Your brother is attempting to propose emergency measures to block the takeover. Poor James, I murmured as the elevator climbed. Always a few steps behind. The doors opened to the executive floor. Employees froze as I walked past, security guards nodding respectfully. They'd been Phoenix Industries employees for months already. Through the glass walls I could see my family in crisis. James pacing frantically, Lauren texting her law firm partners for advice. My father red-faced at the head of the table, my table. Ready? Thomas asked, holding the boardroom door. I smiled. I've been ready for years. The room fell silent as I entered. My father stood, face darkening. Madison, what are you doing here? This is an emergency board meeting. I know. I walked calmly to the head of the table. I called it. You what? James sputtered. This meeting is for major shareholders and executives only. Exactly. I placed my briefcase on the table. Thomas, please distribute the documents. My assistant handed out folders containing my complete corporate portfolio, Phoenix Industries acquisition history, and their new positions in the reorganized company. I don't understand, Lauren said, flipping through the papers. These are organizational charts for Wilson Manufacturing, but Phoenix Manufacturing, I corrected, pressing a button. The screens around the room lit up with my company's logo. As of midnight, Wilson Manufacturing is a subsidiary of Phoenix Industries. Phoenix Industries? My father's face went pale. You mean MJ Phoenix, I said, taking his seat at the head of the table. Madison Jane Phoenix Wilson, founder and CEO of Phoenix Industries. Your new majority shareholder. The silence was absolute. James had stopped pacing, staring at the org chart showing him now reporting to me. Lauren's perfectly manicured hand shook as she read the documents. This is a joke, my father finally managed. You're a project coordinator at some startup. Summit Solutions? I smiled. One of my shell companies. While you were banning me from family dinners for not being successful enough, I was building an empire that just bought yours. I stood, walking to the window where workers were already replacing the Wilson manufacturing sign with my Phoenix logo. All those small companies you've been losing contracts to? The investment group that's been buying your shares? Also mine. That real job you wanted me to get. I turned back to face them. I had it all along. I just didn't need your name on my business card to build it. Madison, James started, if we'd known. You would have what? Invited me to dinner? Given me a seat at the table? I gestured to the documents. I bought my own seat. And now I own the whole table. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Darling, I heard there's trouble at the company. Perhaps now you'll reconsider that entry-level position your father offered. I smiled, typing back. Actually, Mom, I just got a promotion. CEO of Wilson Manufacturing, or rather Phoenix Manufacturing. See you at the next family dinner? I'll be hosting. Now, I said, addressing my shell-shocked family, shall we discuss your new positions in my company? I hear there's an opening for a project coordinator.